Yuki's mind and body filled with rage watching Akaza smirk at her, but she swore she could kill him with her own two blades. A bright blue flash blinded everyone within view, which gave Yuki an opening to free herself. She cut off Akaza's arm that was impaling her, freeing herself from his body. Once she was free, she charged towards him, aiming to slice through his neck with both of her swords. Without hesitation, Akaza slammed down one of her blades, sending it cutting down through his stomach while he caught onto the other one. "You're a lot stronger than you look. I bet if you were loyal, you would be in an upper rank by my side. After what Kibutsuji did to my family, I would never be loyal to that bastard!" Yuki yelled, letting out a large burst of ice towards Akaza. He scoffed, barraging Yuki with more and more attacks, going quicker than he was before. "That's such a shame. I would have loved to challenge you under better circumstances, but Lord Muzan will get his way whether you like it or not." Kyojuro was heavily injured while he was fighting Akaza, but he tried to pull himself off the ground. "Mr. Rengoku, what are you doing?" Tanjiro yelled, seeing him attempt to stand. "I have to help her," Kyojuro shouted, using his sword to prop himself up. "Stay back, Kyojuro!" Yuki shouted, creating a large wall of ice in between them. "Yuki!" Kyojuro yelled in kind, coughing up some blood as he tried to stand again. "You can't take him on your own!" "I said stay back! You're injured! I can handle this!" Kyojuro was worried, seeing how much energy she was using. He knew the major consequences of using her powers. He worried about the toll her mind and body would have. Akaza laughed at the shouting match between the two. "The lovebirds are trying to protect each other. It's a shame it won't mean anything after tonight." "Just die, you damn demon!" she screamed, letting off a slash of ice from her blade. Akaza easily dodged the blast, his face still wearing an excited grin. "It seems your blood demon art is similar to another demon I know, but you're nowhere near as strong as him." The two continued to battle intensely, but Kyojuro was growing increasingly worried about Yuki. He needed to get to her to give her her medicine, but he couldn't risk reopening his wounds either. He looked back at Tanjiro, a serious expression on his face. "Young Kamado, where are Zenitsu and Inosuke?" "I can only assume they are still helping people get out of the train." "Damn it! I need one of them here. Yuki is in grave danger." Tanjiro could see the worried expression on Kyojuro's face. "I know. She's taking on an upper rank on her own." "That's not why she's in danger," Kyojuro explained. "She's in danger because of her powers." "Her powers? What are you talking about, Mr. Rengoku?" "Unlike normal demons, Yuki's powers are based on her stamina. Once she runs out, she begins to lose control of them. If she remains in that state for too long, it completely drains her of her energy." "Is there any way we can stop that from happening?" Kyojuro nodded, pulling out a box that contained a syringe and a vial of purple medicine. "This medicine is able to keep her from losing control, but it needs to be administered intravenously for it to be effective immediately." "But there's no way for us to get close to her with our injuries." "I know. That's why we need either Inosuke or Zenitsu to try and get close enough to either inject her or give her the vial for her to do it herself." Tanjiro looked back at the train, hoping to see anyone who could help, but he didn't see anyone. As he turned his eyes back to the ferocious battle between Yuki and Akaza, he noticed something about Yuki, and it worried him. "Mr. Rengoku, the pace of her attacks is beginning to slow." Kyojuro looked up, seeing her slowed pace, and he quickly grew fearful. "Damn it! She's running out of stamina!" Yuki took a moment to catch her breath, feeling her fingertips beginning to grow numb. She exhaled deeply, seeing her breath condense from the frigid air around her. Damn it! I don't know how much longer I can keep this up, she muttered, her glare landing on Akaza. He smirked at her, his eyes filled with malice. I can tell you're running out of steam. Why don't you just give up now? You know you can't defeat me. Shut up! I'll never surrender to you! Yuki screamed, everything around her freezing to solid ice. She charged in for another attack, her body stumbling as her blade was caught by Akaza. She knew her strikes were weakening. I can see the light draining from your eyes with each breath you take. Your injuries aren't even healing from the overexertion. Just give up and come willingly. Yuki pulled her blade from his hand, using both blades to strike at his neck. He grabbed onto the both of them. Her eyes were flickering as her powers depleted, but she spoke through winded breaths. I won't let you defeat me. Yuki tried to push through her exhaustion, but it was no use to fight it any longer. Her energy fully depleted, and her limbs began to tremble. Akaza took a step back, watching as she let go of her swords. Her body crumpled to the ground, trying to keep herself up with her arms. She crawled across the ground, her vision beginning to go dark, looking up to see Kyojuro and Tanjiro. She reached out her arm towards them, but her vision completely went dark as she lost consciousness. Kyojuro's face lit up with horror, watching as Akaza picked up Yuki's body. He tried to get up to chase after him, but he was still too injured to move. Take your hands off her! He shouted after Akaza. Akaza turned to face Kyojuro, but quickly noticed the sun rising in the distance. It really is a shame we have to cut our battle short, but do know I expect a rematch in the near future, Kyojuro. With those parting words, Akaza ran off with Yuki into the forest. Get back here, demon! Kyojuro shouted, balling his fist and slamming it into the ground. Kyojuro was furious that he let the demon escape, but was even more angry that he had taken Yuki with him. He felt guilty for her being in that state, because she's the one who rescued him. As he stayed on the ground, Zenitsu and Inosuke ran up to check on the both of them. Tanjiro, Mr. Rengoku, are you okay? No, not really. Both of us are pretty injured. Me from the demon on the train, and Rengoku from that upper rank that came afterwards. What? An upper rank? How could he get bested by a demon like that? Inosuke blurted out. If it weren't for Yuki, I wouldn't even be alive, Kyojuro solemnly stated. Both Inosuke and Zenitsu looked at him, wondering what he meant, but Zenitsu also wondered about something else. Wait, where is Mitsuna Fureku anyway? Kyojuro cringed at the question, but Tanjiro answered so he didn't have to. The demon kidnapped her, and is taking her to Kibutsuji. Both Zenitsu and Inosuke looked up at Tanjiro, but Inosuke was not happy to hear that. What do you mean the demon took her? What would Kibutsuji need with a human like her? Tanjiro glanced at Kyojuro, but Kyojuro knew he had to say something about the question. Yuki isn't human. She's a half-demon. Kibutsuji is after information that only she holds. What? She's a demon? Zenitsu screamed. Yes, she's the slayer I told you about who killed the lower rank on Mount Nadagumo, Tanjiro explained. She holds vital information on a flower called the Blue Spider Lily. Kibutsuji has been after this flower for centuries, and he now has the one person who holds the key to its location. We have to get her back, Kyojuro seriously stated. We can't let Kibutsuji get that information. How are we supposed to do that, though? We have no idea where that demon took her, Zenitsu shouted. Kyojuro looked back at the boy, but his eyes filled with guilt. I don't know. I just know we have to find her. I can't let him hurt her. We'll find a way to get her back, Mr. Rengoku, Tanjiro calmly stated, placing a hand on his shoulder. A crow came and landed in front of them. Kyojuro saw it was his, and seriously spoke. Send this message to Master Ubuyashiki immediately. Yuki has been kidnapped by the third upper rank, and she is being taken to Kibutsuji as we speak. We need to come up with a plan to get her back. Kyojuro watched as the crow flew off into the distance, but felt the hand on his shoulder tighten. We'll get her back. She's strong and will find a way back to us. I hope you're right, young Kamado. I don't know what I'd do without her.